So flying your drone is amazing because you can get some awesome shots, but if you don't know what you're doing, it can also be terrifying. There's this one thing that I realized when I was flying in the snow, and the only time you cannot fly in the snow if it's like hailing or it's really thick, wet snow. But other than that, you can fly in the snow almost any time. I learned this the hard way, and this is probably the most important thing you should do if you're going to be flying near water, snow, or anything like that. And this is to make sure that you put water repellent on your lens. I'm not talking about your GoPro. You can always put that on your GoPro if you need. I'm talking about putting this on your FPV lens, because I made probably one of the worst and dumbest mistakes I've ever done. And this was super simple and it could have been fixed. What happened is I went through and I was flying, and I decided I wanted to fly on this mountain ridge. And at the beginning it was really fun and it was all working out just fine. But the moment when I started to go up, I started to get more water and condensation on my lens. And this is where I messed up. But I still thought I was fine because I had an AirTag and a GPS module on my drone. So I couldn't see. So the first thing that I did is I engaged GPS rescue. So the drone turned around and started to head back towards me. Now the thing that started to freak me out, I didn't know how high off of the ground I was. And I knew there were trees and I wasn't sure how close I was to hitting them. So I started to raise up into the sky even more. And this is the number one mistake that I messed up on. Because one, I couldn't see, and there was more condensation in the air. So it started to make my flight performance worse. My battery was getting low. Now, this was just going downhill. I lost battery and it crashed to the ground. Luckily, I knew where it was and I found it with the AirTag because of the GPS module, but it landed in one of the worst spots, right inside of a little stream. I took it back home and I went through and I cleaned it up and I dried it out and it started to work again, which I was actually really surprised. Now what I do every time is I carry a water repellent, and you just add a few drops to your camera before your flight, and it will go through and make sure that water will just go off of your drone and you can actually see. And this also really helps in fog, rain, or anything similar to this. You just need to make sure to use something like that. Make sure to waterproof your drone. Now if you don't mess up like me and you go through and you use these water repellents, you should be fine to fly in the snow. And the nice thing is that now you can get those awesome shots without ever having to worry or messing up as badly as I did. Now, I'm Zane Shaw, and keep flying.